Goldfinger and GoldenEye are both regarded as some of the very best Bond films in the entire series. They are a rare breed of Bond film that practically everyone likes. Both films have influenced the style and tone of subsequent films. Both have classic moments and iconic villains. But which 007 entry is best? Goldfinger was Sean Connery's third Bond film. By this stage, the formula was well and truly established. A comparatively lighter tone is introduced here, along with a colourful villain and a henchman with a special characteristic. This Bond film created a style which many others would try and emulate. As the third Bond outing, the plots had gradually become more intricate and complex, and Goldfinger, as such, has a better story than any of the previous two entries, though those entries are great also. Connery gives his best performance as Bond. There's a sharp wit and some classic scenes. Connery's performance is totally faultless. Auric Goldfinger is one of the best Bond villains. His interactions with Bond are great too. Gert Frobe and Michael Collins both made this character a very engaging on-screen presence. Goldfinger could be a rare Bond outing in which the villain outshines Bond himself. Auric Goldfinger ranks as one of the best villains in the series, and for good reason. Harold Sakata as Oddjob was equally brilliant. Oddjob is one of the best henchmen in the series. He's got the steel-rimmed bowler hat and is a silent presence. Oddjob is such a great henchman, he's a genuine physical threat to Bond. Pussy Galore is one of the most iconic Bond girls. Honor Blackman had good on-screen chemistry with Sean Connery, and the character's introduction has gone down in cinema history. Pussy Galore also isn't initially on Bond's side, and this makes the character more interesting than if she was just unambiguously good. Goldfinger is a classic 60s Bond film. It isn't focused on Spectre or the Cold War, but feels very much embedded in the 60s. That being said, Goldfinger also has this timeless quality to it in places. Goldfinger certainly set the bar very high for future Bond films. So how did Pierce Brosnan's first outing fare? GoldenEye was the first Bond film after a 6-year hiatus. Now, I like License to Kill, but after 6 years away from the big screen, the Bond producers needed to make a statement. GoldenEye was many things, which we'll get into, but ultimately it was modern. It isn't a film that's especially tethered to the past, though the subtle nods are appreciated. GoldenEye appeals to the new generation very well. Pierce Brosnan is excellent in his debut as James Bond. Like Connery's performance in Goldfinger, Brosnan is faultless. However, Connery's performance had matured by the time of Goldfinger, whilst Brosnan's performance was quite different, being his debut. Pierce Brosnan is very good during the action sequences. As far as debut Bond performances go, it's up there amongst the very best. But a Bond is nothing without a good villain. Fortunately, GoldenEye has a superb villain in Alec Trevelyan. Sean Bean as Alec Trevelyan is really fantastic, and I think a really refreshing villain at this stage in the series. Given the personal relationship between Bond and Trevelyan, the stakes are raised, and the hero-villain dynamic is arguably at its very best. Trevelyan is a very different sort of adversary to Auric Goldfinger. Goldfinger is much more camp and has no real personal connection to Bond, so it depends on what sort of villain you're after. Xenia Onatop is a very memorable henchwoman, perhaps the best villain sidekick since Oddjob. Famke Janssen was great as Onatop, and like any henchman, Onatop's demise is just a classic Bond moment. The main Bond girl, Natalia Simonova, as played by Isabella Scoruppa, was also another great part of the cast. I especially like the fact that Natalia is introduced a long while before she crosses paths with Bond. It means that GoldenEye isn't just told from Bond's perspective, which I think is rather refreshing. Both Goldfinger and GoldenEye have a classic score, though I'd say Goldfinger has the strongest score, both in terms of the title track and the score throughout the rest of the film. GoldenEye has the edge on supporting characters, Boris Grushenko and Valentin Zukovsky being especially great additions to the cast. Goldfinger, aside from the villain and Bond girl, doesn't have as great a collection of supporting characters as GoldenEye. After 3 films, Goldfinger perfected the Bond formula. After a 6-year hiatus, GoldenEye brought Bond back with a bang. Ultimately, it's very hard to choose between these two fantastic Bond films. Both are excellently plotted and equally well cast. Any faults with either film are minor. I suspect these may be the only 2 Bond films that every Bond fan likes, though I'm sure I'll be corrected in the comments. If I had to choose, I'd choose GoldenEye. But which of these 2 Bond films do you prefer? And are they deserving of their popularity? Comment down below, and thanks for watching.